Hey guys, so why the odd entrance? This is actually in response to a message that I received on Facebook, and it was a question just saying, hey, it looks like you're on your bed, but I'm not really quite sure, so can you confirm it? So yeah, I'm on my bed. It's my simple Wayfair bed with my cheap IKEA furnishings, but I like it. So now into the story. This is actually a topic that I've been thinking about doing for quite some time. I just couldn't wrap my brain of how I wanted to tell the story. I knew there was a lesson, but to actually pinpoint it and how to deliver that, I was just like, I don't know what to do with this. And so it's been on the back burner for quite some time. And then because of recent things, everything came together for me just recently, and so that's why I'm making this video. The name of this is my story, a 40-year-old driving virgin. So as many of you already know, I'm from New York City, and for any of you who grew up in New York City, you know that driving isn't necessarily like a thing. I didn't know too many people with cars, and as a teenager, getting your license and driving was not like a normal want of a New York City kid, at least not for me or a lot of the people that I knew. It just wasn't in the culture. But I joined the military, and everyone's getting cars. It's just this thing. And of course, I wanted a car. I wanted the freedom, because I'm living on a base in Jacksonville, Florida, and it's remote, and you want to do stuff. But I was just deathly afraid of driving. I remember I had this dream of me killing a little small blonde boy, and this was in the Bronx. So that dream seemed kind of odd because there aren't many blonde boys running around in the Bronx. But it was a recurring dream. I actually had it several times. And so that fear was there. It wasn't a fear of me killing myself so much as it was a fear of me killing someone else. That was my big fear with driving. And you know, you're in the military, you're going to different places. There was this base in Nevada, Fallon, Nevada, which we would go to maybe once or twice a year for a couple of weeks. And so one of the times, I remember this, oh gosh, it was so crazy, but my boss, he goes, hey, and he hands me keys. He goes, hey, go grab the van. We're going to be leaving soon. Just bring it up to the front. And I was like, I don't have a license. I can't drive. Just go get the van. You know, this is military, so they give you a direction and you do it. So I went, and it was, I can't remember how big the van is. Maybe, I want to say it was 13 passenger, but way bigger than anything I could ever possibly imagine driving. I pull the van around to the front of the building, and because I'm not a driver, I know nothing about it, I have no desire to learn anything about driving, I thought, I'm gonna park this van in a regular parking spot. Yeah, so I end up trying to pull into the spot, and there's this truck there, and we make contact. The truck was actually fine, but the van had this big gash in it, right? And I back out and just end up parking just, you know, the way you should, perpendicular to the space, leave it there. I go in, and the guy on duty, I'm like, did you see that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much trouble. And now mind you, we're on this, it was a Top Gun detachment, so we're there for that reason. And I was like super embarrassed and scared, like what's gonna happen to me, because I don't have a license and I shouldn't have been driving this van in the first place. But I think I have to tell my boss. So I go in and I'm like, hey, I need to tell you something. He's like, you know, he was one of those supervisors. I don't want to hear it. We're all about to leave. I need you to run over and do whatever it was. So I'm like, but I need to just go do it. Okay, so I go do whatever it was that he was telling me to do. When I get back, everyone's gone, right? They've all left the building. So I'm like, shoot. I go outside, and they're all in the van, right? And again, the gash was something you could see from outer space. Like, I don't know how, but somehow they all missed this gash. So I get into the van, I'm waiting for someone to say something. No one says anything, and we just drive off. And it wasn't until like maybe a week or two later where it was even noticed, and no one, you know, was like, oh, was it someone drunk going to Reno? Or like, it was just like nothing major was made of it. And so I thought, this is God telling me, you should not be driving. I'm gonna give you a pass this time, but don't do this again. So, and I took that to heed. I did not drive. And really quick, I want to give a shout out to certain people. Sam in New York, Sam in Atlanta, Manny, Chris, Hilda, Tom, Christy, Sherry, Mary, Kuka. I hope I'm not forgetting anyone, but these are people who, because after that incident, again, I didn't drive, and for years, what my situation was is that I would find a job close to where I lived so that I could walk to work. And I would find a place to live that was close to a supermarket and, you know, all that stuff so I can function. And that's how I lived. But these people were people who I believe were sent to my life, and they would help me out. They would drive me places, whether it be for fun or for business. So I just really wanted to give a quick shout out to them, and I'll circle around to that shout out because there's an interesting fact with that shout out. But back to the story. So yes, I wasn't driving, and for any of you who saw my worst job ever video, after I left that job, that kind of started this thing where I was feeling like I wanted better, like for my life, than these jobs where I just wasn't treated right, I wasn't paid right, you know. And I just wanted better. That experience changed me, and eventually I got to the point where I thought, I'm going to go for jobs that I probably don't have a chance of getting. And I did that. And I did get a job that I thought it was a scam at first because it was too good to be true, but it was legit. Ended up moving to Florida, was there for 1.5 years, and then stuff happened with the contract. It's government work. But I get another position paying way more than that in California. Now at this point I'm thinking, I'm gonna have to do something because it's in the middle of nowhere and I'm going to have to drive to work. It was a small remote town, Lemoore, California. And I really wanted the job. I really knew that there wasn't much of many opportunities in Florida for me to continue on this path that I was on. So I decided I'm going to accept this job, and I'm going to have to take my driver's license test because in California, I know there are places where you have to parallel park, and that was kind of like something I'm not good at. So I thought, Florida, it's not a requirement. I have to do it in Florida. So I accept the job, and I have like 2 weeks to take this test before I have to move. So talk about pressure, right? And I'm trying, and again, I really mean it. I did not know, I was learning it from scratch. There was a lot of stuff that I did not know. And I go to take the test, and I remember there was this girl who was coming back from taking her test as I'm walking in, and she's crying because she failed the test. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is gonna be me. What happens if I fail and I don't have this job anymore, and I can't work at that job if I don't have my license? It was I was so freaking nervous. And the test, I mean, to me, I thought it went horrible, but apparently it didn't. He said I did a great job. I get my license, move to California, and that starts this whole new exciting career for me, a path where I'm getting all these government contractor jobs and just making more money and just moving to different places. And the last few years have been just super exciting. And I've just seen stuff and done stuff that I never thought I would have the opportunity to do. So that brings me to today. And again, I was 40. I was actually 41 when I got my license, but it was right after my birthday, like 2 or 3 days after my birthday. So pretty much I was 40 years old, getting my license for the first time. Everyone thought that I had a DUI problem or that there was some other reason, and it was none of that happened. So what happened recently is that I actually got a job offer for another position in Maryland, and I have decided that I'm going to take it. So now this person who was afraid of driving, who would never drive, who then only would initially would drive to work and back. In the last few years, I've gotten to where I'm comfortable with it. And now I'm gonna be driving cross country. And I'm thinking of that, right? I'm also thinking that this is the weird thing that happened. I mean, I knew all of this stuff, but it didn't click until now. The job where I'm at now, it's the same, not only just the same base where that situation happened with the van, but I was actually working in the same building. So for the last year, I have been parking in that same parking lot where all of this began. That whole fear began in that parking lot, and here I was parking in it every day without any incident, without a scratch. It's a full circle moment for me, and I'm proud of myself because think about it. I went through my 20s and my 30s just lying to myself, saying that I was okay without having a license, because ultimately what I realize now is that it was fear. That what I thought was signs with the dreams and all that stuff, they weren't signs, they were fears. There were things that I said to myself so that I wouldn't have to face that fear. And now that I did face it, I see it now. I see the truth. And so for me, that's the lesson. That's the lesson that I learned, and that the reason why I wanted to make this video. So if any of you have gone through a similar situation, please let me know. If you're going through it now, I hope you get some type of inspiration from this video. Quickly, I do want to go back to one thing. When I gave the shout outs to those people who were angels, who actually helped me with driving me places, here's a little fun fact. Believe it or not, there are only 2 people that I know, that I'm aware of, who actually know about this channel, because as I've said many times, there was no intention of me making this expecting this to be anything big, or that anyone would be watching these videos. And so people have found me just by accident. When some guy that I went to high school with, you know, hi Jason, but found me, and then some guy from work who, it was just kind of by accident, he found me as well. So those are the only 2 people that I know of that are in my life that actually know about this channel. So maybe one of these days, one of those people that I mentioned will come across this channel and go, hey, I know this dude. And then we'll see this video and go, is he talking about me? And yeah, I'm talking about you. I really do appreciate you. I know that I said it to you at the time, but now looking back and how far I've come, it really meant the world to me. You really saved me. Some of you saved me in so many ways. So I wanted to thank you for that. So please like, subscribe, but more importantly, comment and let me know if you've gone through a similar thing, if you had a similar fear that you have overcome, or you're overcoming now, or you're thinking about it. I want to know.